But whereas using Thai massage to move everything around, being able to sink in, start to work on that part, physically manipulate the part of the body which is not working correctly, you can get the blood flow to go back there.
Hmm.
So it's very deep and intense work. Uh, but the results are just out of this world. I mean, people who've had chronic disorders for 20, 30, 40 years, and they have 4 or 5 treatments, and lo and behold, it's disappeared.
And in this last part of my talk with Felicity Joy, we get to learn some more about what her own specialty is in terms of teaching abdominal massage and why that is such an important part, especially for those of us in the West, about such an integral component of giving and receiving a Thai massage. And that is coming right up. I still want to talk about what you teach. So you mentioned abdominal
Yes.
massage.
Well, that's the main thing these days. And it's pretty much because, you know, I spent many years on my knees. And, I did hate it when everybody took up their carpets and got hardwood floors. That was a pretty bad time for me. Um, but what I found is when I was much younger, this was wonderful work because it was all these deep lunges and stretches, and I could really move my body, and I really enjoyed that. And my health got dramatically better from having that constant soft stretching and really like being able to extend fully. So, as opposed to people who have to hold their body, we get to flow in our movement. I had a rotten series of ill health, which I had to have operations for, which meant that movement was a little bit difficult for me for a couple of years. Uh, at the time, I was being treated by my teacher, who's a lady called Kuni, who's a master in abdominal work, and he started to train me. And I just loved it because the thing about the work is, whereas Thai massage is terribly dynamic and lots of wonderful movement, with material into it and all these other wonderful things, but working with the abdominal work, with moving, it's not dynamic. You're receiving, you're not giving. So you're not moving people, you're listening and allowing. So if I'm doing like a spinal adjustment, I come in through the belly. So I'll come in right between the large intestine and small intestine, and I'll go in underneath the small intestine. Now, to be able to do that, you have to use these techniques where you wait and listen for the body to melt to allow you to go in.
Right.
And that's really incredibly deep work, especially when you're putting back discs that have bulged out one side and fixing nerves in people who've had whiplash whiplash accidents. And working with people who've got serious disorders, say Crohn's disease is one thing that I love to work on. Crohn's disease is where you've got terrible inflammation of the intestine and it stops functioning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no cure for it in the Western world. They just chop it out. They can give you some diets which can help, but not a lot. But whereas using Thai massage to move everything around, being able to sink in, start to work on that part, physically manipulate the part of the body which is not working correctly. Yes, dietary changes and yes, some herbal supplements. But by being able to manipulate it, you can get the blood flow to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very deep and intense work. Uh, but the results are just out of this world. I mean, people who've had chronic disorders for 20, 30, 40 years, and they have 4 or 5 treatments, and lo and behold, it's disappeared.
Wow.
So it's miraculous. I don't exactly know fully yet, because I've only been doing it now for 16 years, but I haven't fully understood why the miracles are happening. I know it's about blood flow, and I know it's about opening up the body, and it's quite systematic what I teach. And but you have to be able to observe and diagnose and look at things. But um, kind of miraculously mental, this kind of work. I've never seen such results, and my students have never seen such results as
Right.
what they get from sorting out the guts, because the emotional body's in there as well. So, once we balance up the emotional body,
Right. It's another way to affect the whole body.
everybody, yeah, and we know, the good old Asian brain is down the bottom, not up here.
Right. So you're saying dramatic results with Crohn's disease, with slip discs, with what are some of the other?
IBS I'm really good on. I'm very, very good and can teach extremely well. Anybody who's had an operation, so cesarean, appendix removal, we get those appendix people like back one session generally, especially if they've got an internal rotation of the opposing shoulder. But if they've got something wrong with the maybe constipation or diarrhea from a bad appendix operation, because we can move the appendix back to where it should be. So a lot of the time in America, and I've just written a new course for the Americans, is about plastic surgery, because
It's about what surgery?
about plastic surgery, because
Okay.
you guys love a little chop. Put something in, take something out. But all of that, the body doesn't adjust to. So even if you've got like a fat woman who has a tummy tuck and a thigh-blasty and all of this, in her mind, she's still a fat person. So you have to teach the body that it's not fat anymore, or else the same problems are going to come back. So we can make a simulation, post-surgical simulation, a lot of that.
Wow.
But there's almost nothing that I haven't been able, or my students haven't been able to improve the quality of the person in one session. It's crazy. And it's not difficult to learn. It's really,
And to learn it is how much of a time, like to actually get the techniques. I mean, obviously to practice it and is years of learning. It never ends, but to take a course is...
I basically, most of my courses I try to teach is 5 days, because we're all having to, we're massage therapists. Most of us are dyslexic, so we haven't didn't do too well at school, the most of us, because we didn't have the mind that is where they're putting education. If they allowed us to learn sewing and maybe typing or photography or massage, for God's sake, we would be superstars and have our BAs and MBAs and all sorts of things. Because the kind of knowledge that we as massage therapists have is not honoured quite as much. We often are a bit slow to kind of develop our skills. But what I find with the abdominal work, I think you have to have studied Thai massage to begin with, because you have to understand about touching people, and learning how the body moves and learning yourself within it, I think is the most important first. Doing things like specializing in things like abdominal work, or perhaps some of these rocking techniques that are very, very good. You need to have something to build on to be able to understand the way people work, I think.
Right.
That stuff.
Okay.
But there's a lot of different aspects to Thai massage. There's a lots of beyond the asanas and the stretching, that there's some other lovely techniques. Come to Thailand and study and take back to the West.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff like my courses tend to be 5 days, and I do 5-day course, and I'll just bombard you with information. Nowadays, I video all my courses so that you can go back and refer. I also like to run a forum so that students can say, oh my God, somebody just turned up with a triple bypass operation. Their head was stitched on backwards. What am I going to do with them? And then I'll go and go, okay, so this is what I would do. And then I'll have someone from Russia will say, oh yes, but in Russia we put onions in their socks. And then we'll have someone from Australia going, oh yeah, but we make them drink this. And then someone from America, well, yes, and we make them do this. And so you get this kind of coming together of a lot of really natural knowledge, and ways that people have worked. And I think this is also important because Thai massage has never been something that's been fixed and rigid. It's always been something that has grown and developed over time. And even when you're studying with different masters, you'll find that one uses this technique to sort out sciatica, another one uses this technique to sort out sciatica. So there's no one way to heal. There's many ways and there's many different techniques, and they're all good.
Right.
And I think that it's more finding about what fits your body. And that's what a good teacher is somebody who can point you into the direction of that works for you because you move better, you look comfortable. When I watch you and you do it that way, it's beautiful. When I watch him doing it that way, it's not beautiful. But when he does it his way, it's gorgeous.
Right.
Also, you would have seen that as a teacher, when you see these funny angles on new students and you think, damn, they're really uncomfortable. And then you just drop your shoulder a bit, sweetie, and just move that way. And then all of a sudden you see what happens to their face and their body. And then you look at the client, face and body, same thing. They become really peaceful and relaxed also.
Right. Oh my gosh. So much good stuff you have shared. It's been such a good education. And just like a walk through time, I feel like, and into a different culture and a different country. I mean, it's amazing. Do you have a website for people who want to?
I do. But you do understand, like, I'm dyslexic. I absolutely hate doing any of that stuff. And I do it all myself because I'm also can't let other people do things. I do have a website. It's called ThaiTraditionalYogaMassage.com. And it's actually up to date, which is miraculous and weird. And I'm super happy if people want to ask, especially about Thailand, because there's a range of different educations you can get there. And if you want to know about things, like, I'm very happy to share, so long as the emails aren't too long, because I do hours and hours.
Sure.
But to find these things out, I mean, the discovery, and I know that not everybody has the freedom that I have to be able to, because it's been my life. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I have a cat that doesn't like me very much. She fends for herself. But this is my thing. I just love everything about Thai massage. And whenever I'm there, I've always finding who's studying this, who's training in this, where did that massage therapist came from, who have you heard of that's really good. I mean, this year I found a woman who does only faces. That's all she does, Thai facial massage.
Wow.
And she's real. You come out from seeing her and you're, ooh, did somebody glue my face back on? I mean, you feel like you've had a facelift. It's unreal.
Wow.
And she smacks you like this.
Amazing.
Yeah. You need to come outside.
Yep. So any last words, anything you want to share, anything you think that we...
Oh, just, it's a lifetime education. You are never going to get bored. I mean, really, when I started this at 27, I did it. Oh God, I'm not telling that story. It's a very long story. But when I first trained, it was just like, oh, that was fun. And then it was like, I think I'll do it again. I really enjoyed that. And then I did it again. And then I came back to England and I was like, I really like that. I want to do it a lot. I don't care if I get paid. And so I just started doing it. And the more that I do it, I've got more questions now after I've been in the industry for nearly 30 years than I did then, because I've got all this knowledge, which all it does is give me more questions and more people I want to study with. So you're never going to get bored with this work. If you love it, and I think that when we choose a job, we need to love it because you're going to be doing it a long time.
Right.
There's always going to be something that you're going to find. There's always going to be another teacher who has a different aspects that you want to learn. There's it's so rich. It's so deep.
Beautiful.
You're blessed. We're really
That's
excited.
good. Yeah. Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you so much.
no problem at all.